He started to ask Rolf each time he came. "Morning, Rolf. I was thinking, are there any books here by any chance?" "Rolf, I can definitely move well enough to read now." "It doesn't matter what kind of books, really, but if you could find some on European history." "Perhaps you could ask Dr. Mallow what he thinks, but I really believe it might help me to get better." "Did you ask Dr. Mallow? What did he say?" "Rolf, please, if you can understand me, can I have something to read? Anything." "Rolf, I want to see Dr. Mallow. Understand? You tell Dr. Mallow, come to me, yes? Soon. I see Dr. Mallow. It's very important." Anger began to boil up inside Ned, and anger forced him into a terrible mistake. It was impossible, he decided angrily during his endless hours of isolation, that Rolf could have failed to understand him. He was being deliberately cruel. One morning he could take it no longer. "What has Dr. Mallow said about my books? Tell me." Rolf continued his methodical routine of loosening the straps and preparing for Ned's injection. "I want to know what Dr. Mallow has said. Tell me!" Rolf handed him an empty urine bottle without a word. Ned, seething with the bitter injustice of it all, passed the bottle under his bedclothes and began to fill it, anger rising and rising within him. Rolf leaned forward with the syringe, and Ned, maddened as much by the calm routine as by the silence, pulled the bottle up and threw the contents into Rolf's face. For at least 5 seconds, Rolf stood completely still and allowed the urine to drip down his face and off his chin. Ned's temper subsided in an instant, and he tried, unsuccessfully, to smother a laugh. Rolf bent slowly down and replaced the syringe on the trolley, picked up a towel, folded it carefully into 4, and started to pad his face. There was something in the cold impassivity of his demeanour that turned Ned's laughter to fear, and he started to babble apology like a 3-year-old. "Please don't tell Dr. Mallow," he pleaded. "I'm sorry, Rolf. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what I was doing." Rolf replaced the towel on the trolley and straightened up. He looked at Ned speculatively, without a trace of visible anger or concern. "I don't know what came over me, Rolf. Please, forgive me." Rolf beckoned with his hands for Ned to lie down, the usual gesture he made to show that he was ready to fasten the straps. But what about my injection? My injection, Rolf!" Rolf snapped the buckles and looked down at Ned, his head cocked to one side. "Rolf, I'm really sorry, I promise." Rolf placed both hands, one on top of the other, flat on Ned's shoulder, and pushed down, his whole weight behind it, like a baker pressing dough. The ball gave a crack as it jumped from its socket. Rolf gave a little nod, then turned and wheeled the trolley from the room. Within a few hours, Ned had lost his voice. The screaming had torn his throat to shreds. Over the eternal days that followed, he lay alone and whimpering. Unvisited, undrugged, and soaked in his own sweat and urine, he had nothing to turn his mind to but 2 terrible facts and 1 impossible question. Firstly, Rolf had not lost his temper. If he had done what he did in the heat of the moment, while Ned was laughing right in his piss-streaming face, there might be some possibility of reconciliation or appeal. The violence would have been terrible, but human. Secondly, and Ned wept and wept at the cruelty of this, Rolf had quite deliberately set to work on Ned's good shoulder, the left. The right shoulder, still recovering from its earlier mauling, he had left alone. Such implacable, methodical malice offered no hope at all. Thirdly came the question, a question that grew and grew inside him as he whispered it to himself over and over again. Why? What had been his offence? In the name of Jesus, why?